Codex. Now, your Codex is a folder on your computer, essentially. Inside of that folder, you have all of the tools and resources that is your business when it comes to marketing. So you'll have, say, a file talking about all of your landing page names, all of your blog post names, all the checkouts that you have. You'll have a file talking about all of your traffic maps, your campaign structure. So as I spoke about up here about this right here as an example naming convention for Facebook, you would have this format detailed within a notepad document, for instance, talking about this is my naming convention for Facebook. You may have a different one for Google pay-per-click. You may have a different one for Google network ads, I think. Google display ads, that's it. You may have different ones for your YouTube strategy. It's all detailed right here using consistent naming conventions that's useful to your business and your team. Your UTM map, we just explored that. I spoke about how this is how everything's connected in my business. It's a consistent working example that you can keep referring to when you're looking for adding a new category or adding a new traffic source. How is that going to fit with my current flow? You're starting to get the picture. Your KPI map, I didn't showcase that, but that's going to essentially be in the paid content of this post, talking about how you can begin tracking all of your clicks in relation to your sales. What ads are bringing in the most clicks that bring in the most sales, or which ads are bringing in the most sales in relation to irrelevant of click amounts. If one ad's getting 100 clicks and one ad's getting 10 clicks, but they're both making 10 sales, then what's more efficient? What's costing you more? What's costing you less? What's easy for you to produce? What's easy for you to scale and replicate? All of this is explored within comparing your data to your benchmarks. This is where the paid post of this comes in. If you're interested, it's like $100. It'll probably be the best $100 you've ever spent in your life. And so on and so forth. Like I then start talking about how you can compare your UTM data, your UTM map in relation to your KPI data to make informed, efficient, data-backed decisions. How much should you invest this month? How much more should you invest? Are you doing really well, and should you cut your marketing spend down a bit and invest in better equipment? You can do all of these, you can make all of these informed, confident decisions based upon your data, interpreted efficiently and correctly through organizing your data efficiently and being able to benchmark that data effectively against strong, correct performance indicators. I show you how to make all of that in the paid content, specifically for your business or calculators. Your funnel link map is, so I'm going to basically be going through every single one of these items now. So you might want to like skip through this next part. But your funnel link map is simply a text document that talks about your page name, the original URL, and a short link next to it. Here's an example of it. I also throw in a few miscellaneous elements that help me clarify where everything is. Is this a goal event? Is this a retargeting event? Such as, so page 1 would be a landing page, so that's where I'd install my entry pixel. Here's the name inside of my page builder, my WordPress builder, give to my website developer that makes the page, or my copywriter, or whatever that may be. This is what the page is called. Here's the long URL. Here's the short link version of that page. Page 2, the post-click experience page. That is defined as a lead. Any individual that sees this page has to have come from the subsequent page, so therefore they should be tagged as a lead, and so on and so forth. Very, very simple. You would have documents like this for every single funnel that you have. Make it like that. Content pages. So for example, you may have a giant depository of Wistia accounts because you don't want to pay their extortionate, disgusting like payment cycles on how to it's okay, we don't need that anyway. That in order for you to host videos to see analytical reports on, so you would have all of your Wistia accounts there with all the names of videos on there, your username and password. you would have your blog posts there, your blog post name, your blog post URL, and the article name. So you'll be able to link that more so efficiently into UTM parameters later, or to give to your analysis individual that looks at all your data and say, okay, this article is called 63. What is that? He opens as the content document, and he's able to see, oh, 63 is how UTM parameters are used in business. Okay, I can use that and actually make informed and better decisions on that now, or interpret that in a visual way to help my boss to make an informed decision now. Or your checkout pages, your email link maps. So it would be your automations, for instance, email name, objective of the email, name of that email, and maybe the content in it. Your traffic maps. So that would be, say, we're using Facebook as an example, or your naming conventions for custom conversions, naming conventions for custom audiences. What's the objective of that? What's the defined parameters that makes an individual be connected to that custom conversion or that custom audience, such and such. Campaign structure map. I don't go into that here. It's all inside the paid content, but that'll basically just be the naming conventions that the only naming conventions you'll ever need moving forward. If you thought this was cool so far, you should probably jump on that one. UTM glossary. So this is, whilst you're referring and building campaigns, it's easy to forget your naming conventions moving forward. A UTM glossary page helps you to understand what you've called everything to help you better not make a mistake and call something Facebook with a lowercase f, or with a space between face and book, or to call your blog something different than what it actually is called for everything else. This is just a simple depository to help you understand, okay, this is what I called this 2 weeks ago. This is what I should maintain and be consistent with. And just move on through it all right here. So this is me just going through an example of designing a UTM glossary to help you bring through it. UTM builder tool. I've got one for free here. So all you need to be able to do is to just put your link in, define your traffic source. My internet's gone out here, but you should be able to click this drop down menu and just click what it is, LinkedIn, Facebook, whatever. Fill out the rest of this. It will automatically produce your long URL, and then it will also build your short link using simple formulas that I've designed and put together for this. This is going to be completely free and linked to this article as an example of some of the many calculators I want to begin producing and giving away for everybody. Your visual map, we went over just that earlier with the UTM map. I highly recommend you explore the tool draw.io. That's what I use. It's a free flowchart builder. If you're a visual learner like me, you should probably be using that. Encryption key. An encryption key is something very simple and self-explanatory. For your naming convention, be it simple, somebody in your marketplace can very simply interpret your UTM naming conventions to rebuild your campaigns. They could find out your traffic source, they can find out your target audience, and they can begin finding ads that are working for you because you're running them. If you want to hide that data, because that's important to you, you can create something that I call an encryption key. An encryption key would basically be a Excel sheet or Google sheet or just a notepad document that will have a running consistent code that represents certain UTM parameters. So for here, instead of writing Facebook in our UTM parameter, we would have these jumbled up lowercase letters and numbers. Instead of telling people about our target geo, age, sex, device, location, all of that stuff, we've got this rumbled pieces of information. So the completed UTM map without being encoded would look like this, which is giving away your entire campaign and funnel and strategy. Our encoded UTM parameter would look like this. A jumbled up, impossible to interpret and translate to a competitor unless they had your encryption key. Pros and cons of having encryption keys: it it's more effort and energy to translate and be useful to you by making them. Pros, it's impossible for a competitor to steal. To decide whether or not you want an encryption key yourself, I highly recommend that you decide to yourself, is this worth your time, energy, and effort? Is spending all this extra time and added levels of complexity and barriers going to be beneficial to you overall? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Maybe you're overvaluing how valuable you think your stuff is. Most people probably are. Most people don't care. Most people can barely figure out how to send an email successfully themselves. So is that worth it? Is it or is it not? It's up to you. KPI map. This is, as I said here, the crown jewel of my tracking sheet. It shows you how you can mathematically determine how much is the max amount you can spend, for instance. It will tell you exactly how much you should be, how much you cannot spend on a single click, how much you can max spend on a single email, a single sale, all wrapped around your goal. I mentioned and talk about it in this sheet here. So in order for me to determine and make to my marketing goal of whatever the inputted prices and items I put in here, which is all in the paid alpha of this content, in order for me to make that spend goal, my profit goal, my revenue goal, I cannot spend more than $1.12 for a single click. Anything below that showcases to me how optimized and well optimized my ads are, for instance. I cannot spend more than $5.60 on a single email. If I'm getting emails for $2, I'm within margin by $3. That's a very good margin to have. If I'm spending $10 per lead, that means my landing page is out of sync by $5. I'm spending $5 too much. I'm $5 over my KPI. That tells me I need to further optimize and dial in my messaging or my product or reevaluate my entire marketing strategy right here and there. The point is that I can see that data and know mathematically where I am in relation to all the data I'm getting. This is why I was talking about using UTM categories to design and categorize all your data, and KPI math to see exactly where you are in relation of all of this data in a useful way. I highly recommend you spend $100 and you get it yourself.